Well, what is our project today? I am going to install this coat rack, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. And you may already think, oh, Joe, anybody knows how to install that. Yeah, but what if you can't find the studs on the wall? What kind of plastic anchors are you going to do? Are you going to use? You going to use something like this? What size anchor? What length of screw are you going to use? What's that? That's an anchor too. Well, and are you going to use a level? And do you actually need a level to install this? Well, I'm going to give you one answer. No. What about that? I'll show you a way you can install that without a level and be really super close, as though you did have a level. Okay? So that's our project. If you want to stick around for that, please do. This used to be up on the wall, believe it or not, but we ended up having everything painted before we moved in. We had the painters take this off, and I told them I would put it back up. I wanted them to patch this and before they painted, and they never did. And if I look really super close, I can kind of see after they painted everything how they patched in certain areas here, and then they kind of painted over here. Trust me, it never matches exactly when you try to patch a wall later. But hey, what can I say about it? And when they took it off, of course, when they took it off, they lost one of the little mounting screws. And this is mounted with just 2 screws. This little round area is here, and there's another round area at the end. And before, I don't know, they had, whoever installed this, they had a hole in the middle too. For some reason, they must have had something else here. But, you know, what am I going to do? I only have one screw that's this color. I guess I could have went to the hardware store, taken this down there, and tried to match that. I could have done that. I could have taken a silver screw like that. In fact, I have a metal screw, kind of like that. See? This is a round head finish. It's not exactly the same, but I could take that and I could take a felt tip pin. I happen to carry a felt tip pin in my nail bag, and usually when I get done with the felt tip pin, I don't set it in there like a regular pen or pencil. I'll put it upside down, or else the tip will dry, especially if I don't use this for a few months. This will get all dried out. So what I try to do is I'll put this in my nail bag down that way. I could take my felt tip pen and do the top edge and the sides and put 2 coats on there, but I'm not going to be able to get the very middle unless I had something a little bit pointier than this, because this is not going to fit all the way in there. If you had another felt tip pen, let's see. Oh, look at that. Here's a Sharpie with a small little tip. Wow, I could use the small little tip and go in there, but I'm not going to do that. I've got another idea. I'm not even going to use this screw here at all. What am I going to use? I'm going to end up using a drywall screw, and I've got 2 different sizes. These are rough. These are coarse threaded sheetrock screws, and see, it's got a recessed, well, not a recessed, but concave type head. You could call that a flat head. See? I mean, it's almost, this one's round head and it sticks up. This is flat. And, you know, if you've been watching my videos, I tell you, I carry these all the time. See, this one's 6 1/4 and, or 1 1/4 inch coarse thread drywall screws. Okay, and then I've got some coarse thread drywall screws, 1 5/8 inch, and I carry 1 1/4 inch, 1 5/8 inch, 2 inch, 2 1/2, and also 3 inch for all kinds of different things. And I can use something like that because check this out. Here's this. I can put this. This is black. This is kind of an anodized bronze color. And it's nice and flat, it's not round there, but what do you think about that? That's gonna be perfect. I'm just gonna use my sheetrock screws. So then the next question becomes, I've got a couple different questions, okay? And that's why I've got you here, and I've got a few different things right over here. I've got different things I wanted to show you, okay? Because am I going to use that level? I'm going to show you a way to install this without a level. But here's some different plastic anchors. My favorite plastic anchors are these right here. And this just happens to be red, this one just happens to be blue. These are the exact same, okay? Exact same size. They've got ribs along here, and these are nice and stiff because usually I'll make a hole in the sheetrock only so far, and then I'll use my hammer and tap this all the way in. And see, nowadays a lot of times you'll see one like this. See how the ribs go around this direction? And these aren't as strong as these. These are so stiff I can just beat that in with the hammer, almost like I'm tapping a nail into the wall. Well, this one is more unforgiving in the wall because it's not tapered. It's not tapered as much as this one. This is almost like a cone shaped. This one's a little bit straighter up. There's a slight cone to it at an angle, just not very much. So I have to make the hole a little bit more precise. And usually I try to stop the hole about this size so I can poke that in. But sometimes when I try to tap that in with a hammer, this thing could fold over, and then I have to pull it out and straighten it out with a pair of pliers. I never have to do that with these. These are hard to find nowadays for some reason though. And so now the question becomes, what size, Joe? Look, I found two other ones in my nail bag. See? 3 sizes. Here's an even smaller one. This is for smaller screws, very same, but that's too small. I've already made the decision. I am going to use my sheetrock screw, and it's a coarse thread, okay? So then the question becomes, can I use one this size? And this one on the box of them, when you get from the store, it says 10 to 12. Sizes 10 to 12 screw will fit into this plastic anchor, okay? And the screw, the mounting screw, that's probably a number 10. It could even be a number 8. Okay, but that would work. That would work if I had both mounting screws. I could use these screws and these plastic anchors. But because I'm going to use these sheetrock screws, the question is it going to fit in here? With the coarse threads will grab on here, even though this looks smaller than the thickness of this mounting screw that was there before. But because it's got the wide threads, that's why I get the coarse threaded screws. And plus, these will hold the sheetrock. If you're installing sheetrock into wood, use coarse thread. Or if you're screwing anything into the walls, coarse thread is going to hold better than the fine thread. And usually people, sometimes they may not know the difference, and they'll just get, sheetrock screw is a sheetrock screw. And this thread is finer, and that's for metal, okay? So that could fit in there, because see, it goes in further, but as I screw it in there, that would hold. So if I did use these, the question becomes, do I use the 1 1/4 or do I use the 1 5/8? I'm giving you a little tutorial here, not just, hey, screw this up, it's only going to take 2 minutes and I'm done. Okay, if I use this screw here, can you see it's going to go further than this plastic anchor? But the reason on this plastic anchor, there's slits on the side, wide open, and this will break apart when you take a screw longer than the plastic anchor. So yeah, if I was using this anchor, I would use this long screw, more so than the smaller screw. The smaller screw would fit, okay? But you first have to go through, we first have to go through the thickness of our coat rack